Welcome to Grumpy Vegan Grandad. I'm here in the middle of Blackpool in the Albion pub. I'm here to meet no other person than Psycho Syd. Now, I don't know the crap with this fella. I don't know whether he's going to walk in with an axe. I don't know whether he's going to walk in with a shotgun or anything. All I know is he's a psycho. In fact, shit is he anyhow. Okay, so here we are with Psycho Syd. Now, Syd, I was a little bit worried about coming and meeting a psycho today, and I've just realised, because I've read a bit of your book, that you're not a psycho, it stands for Psychedelic Syd. So, can you tell us a bit about, this is the book he's read, it's on Amazon at the moment.
Yep.
And it's all about the death and life of Psycho Syd, Syd Barnes.
That's me.
So can you tell us a little bit about the book?
Yeah, well, firstly, I'm not a psycho. Although some people do me head in and occasionally I imagine I'm a psycho, but I'm a very non-confrontational kind of bloke. I'm a vegan. I used to, as a teenager, I used to be called Psychedelic Syd because I love bands like Pink Floyd and The Doors and had long hair and Peace Man. Yeah. And it soon got shortened to Psycho. So it stuck like super glue. The death and life, I died spiritually and I had to reinvent myself. And the story's very strange. It's on Amazon, selling well. Came out in October, over 2,000 copies have gone. Uh-huh. All 5-star reviews, everyone's going crazy about it. And saying you're almost as good looking as me. If we get a feature film, then you can play the part, mate. So the book begins off with my early life, a Mancunian from a council estate.
Which council estate?
Barlow Hall, Chaltenham.
Right, Chaltenham, yeah, I know it well.
So I'm a City fan, of course, coming from Manchester, and I'm happy because we beat United the other day as well. And then I decided to travel the world. I couldn't see the point in just working in a boring job, so I took off and travelled the world.
How old were you then, by the way?
Well, I was still a bit of a hippie. I was 28 when I decided that's enough. I'd been a truck driver.
Really? Yeah. Yeah, I knew there was something sort of psychotic about it.
No, that's why. Yeah, I used to drive over to Ireland, Dublin, from Manchester to Dublin on the Holyhead ferry. So I used to do a bit of truck driving.
So you went abroad, and where did you actually go?
I went to Singapore and decided to come back overland, Malaysia, Thailand, and I thought, wow, the sun's shining every day, the children smiling. After 3 months, back to Manchester, it was rainy and cold. I thought, what the heck am I doing back here? So I flew back to paradise and spent most of my time out there. Okay. Jungles, remote islands. I loved it. So
this book documents your time in Singapore and all that period from when you were 28 years old?
Yes.
So is that what the book's about totally?
No. So it shows you that how life can change. In 2011, I was in paradise. I was working as a filmmaker for Electricité de France in the People's Democratic Republic of Laos. Yeah. Good money, married to a beautiful woman. I'd bought a house, a car. I found what I was looking for, the perfect location, the perfect place. Yeah. Yes, I've made it. In the blink of an eye, I'm in Blackpool. I've been diagnosed with terminal cancer, stage 4, inoperable, 6 months to live. That's it, no chance.
What kind of cancer was it?
It was head and neck cancer.
Head and neck cancer.
And they just said, we can't operate, we can't cut it out because we'd have to cut half your face off and it'd kill you. So I said, well, what are you going to do? And, well, you've got a maximum of 6 months. They gave me a form to take to the benefits office. So a DS 1500, I had that in. No interviews, automatic.
So what, this is hard for me because I'm indestructible as far as I'm concerned. So what was going through your mind then? Was it fear? Was it determined? What was going through your mind at that exact time that he told you got 6 months to live? What was going through? Were you not scared or upset, or what was? What was happening?
I think, you know, the initial reaction was shock. And I sort of like silently screamed. I looked at my wife, I looked at my 2 kids, I silently screamed, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then I was very afraid, I was scared. And I just didn't know what to do. I thought, I'm going to die. I think dying, it was a shock, because before that I was like you, was indestructible.
Good looking.
Almost. And I was used to do mountain biking. And
how old was you at this point?
I was 55.
So you were 55 and you got diagnosed. So even like with your age, it wasn't looking good, because a young man to be diagnosed with something like this has barely got a chance. But someone older like us guys, it's an instant death sentence. Surely.
It was a nightmare. What am I going to do? I'm bloody dying. I've got six months to live. And then I looked at my kids. I'm not going to watch my kids growing up.
Yeah.
And then I looked at my wife. I love her with all my heart. I'm not going to see her. And I'd always been vegetarian all my life, from 5 years old.
Right, really?
I stopped eating meat.
Okay.
In a meat-eating family.
So when you say vegetarian, so you were still consuming dairy, you were still consuming eggs, is that correct?
I didn't eat eggs. What happened at 5 years old, I was in a meat-eating family on a council estate in Manchester, and I just refused to eat meat when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
And my mum tried to say, come on, eat it, and whatever she said, I said, I'm not eating animals. And so I went vegetarian.
Right, okay.
And I can only think that was because when I was a child, like 3 and 4, a toddler, she used to read me stories like, look at the piggy wiggies and the moo cows and the baby
3 little pigs and
all that.
Yeah,
and I thought, they're my friends, I don't want to eat them, and I refused to eat them.
Really? You thought that way? So
Yeah,
I mean, why? I don't know why I'm asking that question, because obviously, of course, kids. I mean, we're all born vegan anyway, so we're taught to eat meat. It isn't something we do naturally. So yeah, I do get that actually. But it's a wonder that so many other kids don't get that connection. I think it's quite unusual that you got that connection so early in life, and you acted on it. That's another thing.
I'm lucky that my mum allowed it. So the rest of the family were eating steaks and liver and onions, and I was having some mashed potatoes and cauliflower and things.
Nothing wrong with that, kid. Nothing wrong with that.
And so I was always veggie, and I was a bit of a junk food veggie, really. Cheese pizzas, chip butties, and that. And got a bit Postman Pat. And and anyway, I'm off to the Fat Boy Slim tomorrow. I'm on a detox.
So we got this diagnosis. You've been vegetarian all your life, and now you're sat there. You've got 6 months left to live. You've got 2 small children. You've got a lovely wife. What happens next?
I go home. I'm frightened to death. I research online. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? How can I live? And the only people that seemed to be able to beat against the odds were people who went totally plant-based, raw organic fruit and veg.
Raw organic fruit and veg.
That's what I did. I just.
So you'd researched that these had beaten cancer or done something by going raw.
Yes.
Right. So you've done the research on it. Okay.
So I went to the herbalist, got lots of herbal mixtures for my kidneys and my liver. I changed the water system in the house to pure water, no
take
fluoride.
all the fluoride and all that shit out of it,
And that's what I did, and I just kept doing it, and I went from 14 stone to 6 stone in 2 months.
Right.
And I went on the scales at the hospital, and I thought, bloody hell, my weight's going down faster than a girl who used to know.
14 stone to 6 stone
in 2 months.
Oh my God.
And I thought, my weight's going down faster than a girl who used to know from Macclesfield. There was a skeleton, a bag of bones, and I just kept juicing. I had a big tray of magnesium and vitamin D and B12, and just kept juicing, and I kept eating.
So did the doctors not do anything prior to this? Did you not get no chemotherapy?
Well, what happened, yes, before this, but at the same time I was starting to juice, they said your only chance is we'll give you some chemo.
Right.
And I wasn't enthusiastic, and I looked at my wife and kids. I thought, well, okay, because I've no idea.
Yeah.
So I go in, I go to the chemo lounge, sit with my chemical brothers and sisters. They bang, they got 3. They come along, the nurse comes along, gets there, and I said, hey boy, hey girl, let's go. And they banged the stuff in me, and it was a bit boring actually. I was just reading, magazines, and I went home, and they attached a glass bottle to me, pumping the chemo into me. And I went home, I woke up in hell. My body rejected it, I was spewing up, and I went to A&E.
So how long after your diagnosis did all this bit happen? Is it pretty much straight away?
More or less straight away. I was dying, yeah. And I ended up in an isolation ward in Blackpool Victoria Hospital, and stayed in there for 10 days. Then they said, we'll try one more time, because originally it was 3 sessions of chemo. We'll try one more time with different drugs and a lower dosage, and exactly the same thing happened.
Yeah.
So I said, well, what can you do now? And they said, well, you've got 6 months. All we can do is give you some radiotherapy. And I said, but I must warn you, it'd be the most painful, dreadful nightmare you've ever been through. And it's only got a 1 in 5 chance of extending your survival time by a bit.
Okay, yeah.
So I said, well, I'm not having that, man. And so I said, no. But
that was a gutsy thing to do.
But things changed, because I looked at my 2 kids, and I looked at my wife, and I was so deeply in love with them, of course. And I thought, well, I've got to grab any chance, even if it's only for a couple of months. So I went, they moulded a mask, and they burnt all my neck and mouth, and it was agony. It was, the wounds were open, they were dripping, plus it was the most painful. It was like drinking scalding water 24/7. And then I was home, and that was it. Am I going to live or die? It looks like I'm going to die, but I thought, no. I meditated, I carried on juicing. Anything out of a tin, a packet, any processed food, I wouldn't touch it. Nothing, any sugar.
So can I just stop you there, please? Because, so the doctors give you this radiotherapy, and then that was it. They sent you away and said, right, did they say it had worked? Did they say it hadn't worked? Did you say you had to wait for it?
I had to go back every week to have an endoscopy and put it down and check, and they just said we can't. For the first few months they couldn't see anything, because it was full of something known as slough, which are all the dead cells, and they couldn't see. And they just kept carrying on really, and I forced myself to walk. I mean, one time I was pushed in a wheelchair and a Zimmer frame from being quite fit and healthy in a blink of an eye. So it was terrifying, and eventually my mind just changed. Just totally the natural route. I'm going to die otherwise. So I kept drinking juices, herbs, vitamins, minerals, and carried on. And then, so that would have been April, May, over August. It finished at the end of August. So then I've got like morphine, and I was in bloody agony. I've got morphine, and they told me after the radiotherapy the pain goes worse. So I went, my goodness. And it was agony. And in October, I've been overseas working as a filmmaker for EDF. In October, when I first came back, before I saw my mum, and she had dementia. And when I went, hello, ma'am, she just looked past me, she didn't see me, which broke my heart. She didn't even know me. I saw her once more, and then she said, Syd, so she did recognise me. In October, so I've got terminal cancer, and then my mum died. She just died, and I'm like, what is going on?
Didn't your dad die previous?
My dad, so I've got no one really. And my mum died, and I think, what the hell's going on? What have I done? Where's my karma coming from? And I kept it inside, but it broke my heart. And then, unbelievably, my wife turned round and said, I don't love you anymore. And I went, what? I said, I've only got a few months I'm going to leave you. I've only got a few months to live. I'm going, what have I done? And I've been loyal and faithful, never cheated. Oh my God. And then, so I couldn't make it upstairs. I was on I called it my sixth sofa in the living room, dying room I called it. And she's going out and she's having an affair with someone coming back and saying, I met a new healthy lover, and eventually she returned to Laos. She was from Laos, and we'd never had an argument, and that was it. And I'm on my own with a matter of months to live. In fact, I was dying a double death, if you think about it. I was dying of cancer and a broken heart.
Yeah.
And the broken heart was more painful.
Yeah,
If you've ever had a broken heart.
I've had a few broken hearts, mate.
Not nice,
No, they do, definitely.
And eventually in November 2017, I went to another checkup, and the oncologist said, "Don't come back anymore, Mr. Casney." I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, you're all clear." And he said, "How the devil did you do that?" And I said, "Well, I just went vegan." I said, "I cut out all the processed food. I was vegetarian before, so I cut out the cheese and any cakes and things with eggs, and I just had organic fruit and veg and herbs, and here I am." He said, "That is absolutely astonishing."
So, do you think that when you started looking at all this plant healing, the vegan diet, cutting out meat, cutting out dairy, cutting out all the animal products, do you think that aided your recovery, or could it have been the radiotherapy that you had last, or what was it, a combination of both? Do you think in your own heart, if you hadn't have gone down the plant-based route and cut out all these animal products, that you would have died?
Difficult one to answer that. I honestly believe that going down just pure organic fruit and veg saved me. I can't say that, who knows whether it was my fighting spirit, but I just thought, all we are trillions of cells, and we've got blood which feeds all the cells, and a lymphatic system that clears all the waste out through your kidneys, your colon, your skin. And I thought, well, if I'm putting loads of junk and chemicals and rubbish and dairy, which is clogging, it's not going to help, is it? So I just totally put alkaline fruit and veg in, and it's worked. I'm still here. And I put a bit of weight on as well now. I've been eating a bit of vegan junk again. I'm getting a bit cocksure.
So I think we can conclude from this that I mean, all right, it's an anecdotal story. There's no medical evidence to prove anything, but you in your heart do believe that plant-based and eating organic and putting the right things in your body, it must have strengthened your resolve. I mean, for a guy your age to go through mentally, through your wife dumping you, getting you should have been 6 feet under a long time ago with this, and you didn't. And I think the plant-based diet has got a lot to do with your recovery and give you the strength, because I know for a fact that when you eat plants and fruits and vegetables, my immune system is banged on now. I'm very ill, so he does a big cough when I mention it.
Sorry.
So so
one more, sorry.
So yeah, I totally believe that it contributed towards it, and it is. I'll tell you what, it's an amazing story, mate. It really is an amazing story.
Yes, I firmly believe we are basically frugivores. We're closer to chimpanzees and orangutans than carnivores, and they basically eat fruit. So I think that's the most healing. Organic fruit, berries, melons, apples, oranges, grapes, is the healthiest food we can put inside us, and it all clears out. And I think also, I started to believe, which is an important factor. I'm
with you on that one.
I started to believe, actually, I'm going to heal myself. I am going to beat it. And that belief, I'm doing the right things. I'm cutting out meat and well, I never had meat, but all the junk food and cheese pizzas and bags of crisps, Diet Coke. I'm not having any of that shite. I'm just having pure organic fruit. And I started to believe, yes, I'm going to win. And I did.
Well, listen, folks, that is the book, right? It's got everything in that he did, his whole story. It's available on Amazon. I'll put a link to it down below. Yeah, it's a brilliant read, even though I've only read like the first quarter of it.
And there's a lot of spirituality in there, where obviously, when you go through that, I mean, I looked into myself, especially when I was very sick. I couldn't go anywhere. The only place I could go was to dive deep into myself and try, what happens when we die? Is there anything else? Who am I? Am I just cells? Are my feelings of love? Is that just chemical and electrical reactions? Or do I have a soul? That kind of stuff. So it goes quite deep into a lot of wisdom as well.
Cut there.